Hi. May you have a God-blessed Good Friday. This is definitely a different one. It's not actually Good Friday today. We're doing this ahead of time. But continuing the emphasis of yesterday, and with a vision for making this different Easter time a milestone of growth, particularly with some of those deep, deep aches and drains and burdens that we have as believers, because life is hard. Continuing to look at God's perfect provision of lament. The next part is also seen in yesterday's scripture references. It is the godly complaint, along with turning to God, the first thing I shared with you, when it seems like he's the last one we want to turn to almost, because he's the one we feel betrayed by or abandoned by. Turning to God anyway. The next thing is the godly complaint. You know, those scriptures I read yesterday. Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? Where do you go when I need you most? Why is my life so full of grief and mourning? And how long will they, just do evil rampantly and get away with it? All those questions. It's where the author I mentioned, Mark Vrogrop, I butchered his name. The author I mentioned yesterday, Mark Vrogop, he says, this is where who God is doesn't seem to line up with what we see and experience in life. So the godly complaint. And then after that, the third aspect would be asking God in bold request. Going to him with bold prayers anyway. And again, it's another keep asking. It's not because you haven't before, but you're looking at your impossible situation. You're looking at a situation you prayed for till you ache, and you just about want to move on because sometimes praying about it makes you feel all the more unheard. But instead, you just make bold request, God-sized request. It's very much like that widow in Matthew 18. How she just kept on praying. In fact, I'll share that with you. Luke 18, 1-8 says, Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. He said, in a certain town, there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared about men. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, Grant me justice against my adversary. Now she kept coming. Imagine how humiliating that would be. She's in dire need. She's begging, she's pleading, and she's being brushed off. Jesus continued, For some time he refused. But finally he said to himself, Even though I don't fear God or care about men, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually wear me out with her coming. And the Lord said, Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God, the very opposite, will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly or suddenly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? This Good Friday, we want to remember with all the other Good Fridays how it was the injustice done to Jesus by Jews and Romans, and his submission to the Father's will that put him on the cross. He went to the cross willingly and satisfied fully the justice of God for us that we would otherwise face. Recalling the significance of what God has already done, Romans 8, that long section on the fact that we're more than conquerors or super conquerors. Romans 8:32 says this, He who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, how will he not also, along with him, graciously give us all things? He says, since he's already done the greater thing in redemption, how will he not also do lesser things in keeping with his purpose of redemption? So the point is, we should go to God in bold request, especially when we consider his redemptive purpose, how he loves to turn the impossible into reality, how he loves to show that it was he that turned things around, that only he could turn around. So we want to make those bold requests. The last part of lament, the fourth part, it seems right to save for Easter Sunday. So with that in mind, we want to turn to God. When it seems like we want to turn away, we want to voice our complaint respectfully, but with raw gut honesty. And to continue to do that, and we want to make bold requests and continue to do that too based on who God is. He is our God. God bless and keep you.